Josie, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but could you please take care of our bills as well? You were lucky to have us run into you here today, so I'm sure you're okay with covering the costs, right? I mean, we are your family, after all. What? Wait, but that's a little... This was such a great coincidence, right? Oh, it's rare for us to ever run into you like that. I was so happy to see you in the same restaurant as all of us, and that made me eat even more than I'm used to. Our bill is around $500, but you can take care of that for us, please. What? You're telling me that you, your husband, and your daughter were all able to eat $500 worth of food here? Well, this kind of a restaurant happens to serve very fine courses, so we took it upon ourselves to order them. Normally, we would never be willing to pay that much for food, but since you're here, you'll be able to cover the bill for us, right? What are you talking about, Angela? $500 is a lot of money. Oh my, but for someone like you, $500 should be nothing considering you're making far more than that, right? How lovely it must be to be you. You got to be born as the daughter of a company owner, and someday you'll become the CEO of that company, too. I wish I could have been given such a wonderful gift like never having to get off my butt in order to make money. What are you going on about right now? Well, when it comes to your family, you guys just sit on your laptops all the time in meetings and make money doing that, right? That's the kind of work anyone can do. But you were given the gift of having a company-owning father. How wonderful for you. I'll tell you right now that it's not as easy as you think to do all of this work. There are plenty of things that I have to be responsible for. Well, it's fine. I can understand people having the wrong idea of the work I do. As for right now, I'll pay that bill for you all. But I didn't bring all that much money with me today, and I don't have my card case either, so could you please pay half of it right now? I'll make sure to give you the other half when I get home. Huh? What are you going on about right now? Are you actually going to force your in-laws to help you pay? Excuse me? No, I wasn't trying to force you guys to pay. You really are the most useless wife ever. I cannot believe what I've just had to hear from you. At a time like this, you should be stepping in and letting us all know that you'll pay for our dinners and more since we allowed you into our family. Yet you weren't able to do that without me having to help you, and now you want me to help pay half? Ha! I've had enough of you for today. It seems that what you expect from me and what I expect from myself are very different. But I'll listen to you this time. Just give me a little bit to go out and get some money from my car. Then we'll come and leave our bill with you and be heading out while you pay for us. Thank you very much for dinner tonight. Hold on a second. Can you at least come and fill out this paper for me? I have to keep all the bills and everything in check at home, and it would really help me out a lot if you wrote down what you guys ordered and stuff. Huh? Oh, Jesus, you really are causing trouble now. Please make an effort to make things like paying for your in-laws a smoother process. I do not like having to come to you every time and having to sign all those papers you have. What?
It happened again today? There's no way they keep running into you again and again like that by coincidence.
I know. I think they're all stalking me right now and follow me to places like restaurants and bars in order to do these exact things to me.
Do they really need to go through all of that in order to get a free meal from someone? And I've been sending them money every month that they can use for things like food, even though I'd rather not send them anything. No matter how hard I try and put things together in my head, I can't understand what's going on with them. They are my own family, and yet I still cannot comprehend what is happening inside their heads. Ah, that's right. Were you able to get my mom or dad to sign that paper for you with their bill?
Of course. I'll never forget to have them sign those papers for me.
I see. Well, at least we have documentation of that now as well. I really am so sorry for what my family has been doing to you, Josie. You must really hate my family now.
Honestly, I don't really hate them. They're all kind of like a walking anomaly. Your parents and sister all seem to think that they can just have anything they want, and their selfishness is so great that it's kind of fun to watch. You're not to blame for the way those three turned out anyway, so please don't say sorry about it.
But The fact that those three are literally following you everywhere is insane, right? Do you think they know everything about you? Like the things you don't even write down on your calendar or anything?
I think so. I made sure to not even write down the plans for today and never said anything about them to anyone. So if they had something like a listening device on me even, they shouldn't have known. Today I even went to that restaurant straight from my office, so I'm not sure how they were able to follow me.
Then they have to be stalking you pretty severely to the point that they may have hired someone else to follow you around. I can't believe this. What are they doing with all their time, man?
Have those three always been that way, or did it only start happening when I came around?
That's how they've always been. Ever since elementary school, I think. They would follow me to and from school and ask me to bring in a Tupperware to class so that I could bring my school lunch leftovers out to them. That was freaking embarrassing, and the principal wouldn't even do anything to stop them. That led them doing that every single day that I was going to school, and all of my classmates would make fun of me for it.
What? You're joking, right? That's really screwed up. But what about your older sister?
She is taken after both of my parents and is always following them in their footsteps. Actually, she's become even worse because she'll go out and literally steal food from people. I get that my family has never been very well off, so at times I can understand wanting to go out and take food.
I see. So you've really had yourself a safe family then.
I'm sure hoping you were being sarcastic there. Because my family is anything but safe, and I'm not even sure if they have any money anymore. My dad has always been wasting all of his money on cars and my mom on jewelry. And when I became old enough to work, they had me start doing part-time jobs and taking my money from me to use on their own desires. And if that wasn't bad enough, by the time my birthday or Christmas would come around, the only thing they would give me was a bag of expired chocolate.
Chocolate? Every year you got expired chocolate?
Yeah, pretty messed up, right? But since my sister was always following in their footsteps, they would buy her toys and such to reward her for being so good. All of that led to me losing it eventually, and when I finished high school, I moved out of their house and never went back. Yet, they were still able to follow me and find out where I work. I don't get it anymore.
So you really had yourself a pretty bad childhood then. No wonder you were never really talking much about it before.
I really wanted to keep my family away from you when we started dating and when we get married. But somehow they were able to find out about you and then find out about your dad and his company. This is really starting to turn into one giant mess.
You're not wrong about that. We need to start coming up with a proper plan in order to get rid of them.
Yes, we sure do.
Angela, why are you guys all here right now? What's that? What a huge coincidence! Whoever thought that we'd all be running into you today at this really fancy wine bar? So you're going to call this one a coincidence as well, huh? I'm sure you've all been waiting here for me to come inside, right? Oh, don't say such horrible things about other people, please. Do you really think that my family and I have the ability to find out every single restaurant or bar that you're going to be at? I'm sure that today, just like every other day, you guys followed me here, right? Then how come we were all in this place before you walked inside? Had we been following you here, then you would have come inside first with us following behind after you, right? Oh, well, that is very true. Which makes this nothing more than a coincidence. Just a very miraculous coincidence. Now, let's all quit all of this chatting and get to drinking some fine wines and eating some lovely charcuterie. Today is the day of our anniversary. So would you all please let the two of us have some time to ourselves and enjoy the dinner we have scheduled here in peace? Oh, that's completely fine with us. Oh, there happens to be plenty of private rooms at this wine bar for events such as that. So there really is no reason for you guys to be eating at the exact same spot as us, right? Right? That's right, which means we'll be in a separate area from you guys. Of course, though, the bill will be all together tonight. After all, we're all family here. You guys would never make your parents pay for their food, right? Oh, please let Grayson know what I've said. Understood? Oh, my stomach is so full. I knew that the foods at a place so high-end as this would be too good to pass up on. Those cheeses were all so creamy and rich, I just couldn't stop myself from ordering more and more. Is that so? Well, I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed your dinner. The three of us are so full now that we can't even get up from our table. And the fact that this is all going to be paid for by you makes this night so magical. Well, thank you very much, Josie. I never said that I would be paying for all that food, though. Huh? And what are you trying to say to me now? Today's the day of your guys' wedding anniversary, is it not? Which means that you both will be treating your family to this dinner. That would be the right thing to do, after all. We made sure to eat up on as much as we could tonight, and that would be around the amount to feed 30-odd people. So please, take care of the bill for us. But I'm not married to anyone. What? Just this morning I got a divorce from Grayson. Which would mean that you three are not my family anymore, as you are all a part of my ex's family now, making you guys strangers to me pretty much. What are you talking about now? Are you really that troublesome of a child, Josie? Did you drink yourself a little too much wine over there to the point that you can't even remember who you're married to?
Actually, I didn't have any wine to drink tonight. Grayson and I are now divorced, and that's what I'm trying to say to you.
I have no idea what you're going on about right now, woman. Today is the day of your guys' wedding anniversary, and that's what you both came here to celebrate, right? So what the hell are you saying when you talk about a divorce?
I've become fed up with the three of you, so I went ahead and got a divorce from your son in order to never have to deal with any one of you again.
Huh? Don't tell me. You're actually being serious with me right now?
I'm being very serious right now. Therefore, you and I are now strangers to one another. I have no reason to be paying for your guys' meal tonight, so please take care of the bill on your own.
Oh, is there really any reason for you to be doing that?
There is. Because the three of you have been so rude to me this whole time and are like leeches eating away at all of my money. You seem to think that just because you three were my in-laws, you could ask me to do whatever you wanted. Well, luckily, we're no longer family anymore, so I have the right to leave this place and not give two craps about your guys' bill.
I don't care that you're only bringing that up to us now, but I want to know how we're supposed to pay now. None of us brought any money with us today.
What were you three thinking coming out to eat tonight and not bringing any way to pay for your food and drink? That sounds very malicious of you guys. Would you like me to call the police for you and have them figure something out?
What the hell, Josie? Who do you think you are talking to us that way? I've had enough of this. I can tell that you're not going to listen to anything I have to say. I'll ask Grayson to help us out instead. At least he's still a part of my family.
I'm sure you three aren't aware yet, but Grayson is just as fed up with the three of you as I am. Seems like he's been holding in a lot of anger for every bag of expired chocolate you've been giving him over the years.
Huh? Expired chocolate? Listen, Grayson, tell me what the hell is going on with your situation right now. Is it really true that you and Josie got a divorce?
Yes, that's the truth. That means she is no longer a part of your family anymore.
Why would you do something so idiotic, boy? For the time being, we're going to need you to take care of the bill here. Then after we get home, we can talk more about this.
The thing is though, Mom, I don't have any money on me right now.
What?
Actually, all my money is being held in Josie's and my shared accounts. And well, in this divorce, all that money was taken by Josie, and so I have nothing to pay with. She is no longer my wife now, so I have no right to go and ask her for any of that money back, because we are more like strangers than anything else now. So there's nothing I can do for you. I was planning on having her pay for me as well tonight, just like all of you.
What are you saying, Grayson? How dare you use that as an excuse to not help us out? You're still a part of my family, right? You have to find some way to help your family out then. Find some way to pay for our dinner right now. If we don't start paying soon, the manager of this place is going to call the police on us.
And I told you already, I don't have any money. How am I supposed to pay for you guys when I can't even pay for myself?
Then you go and ask Josie to please pay for all of us.
I just asked her that, and she rolled her eyes at me before saying no. There's nothing I can do to get her to say yes now, because she's just a stranger to me.
You two, are you guys trying to make a fool out of me now? I will not forgive you for something like that. That bull crap.
What are you going on about, Mom? You three have been the ones making fools out of Josie, right? Always following her to places and making her pay for you. Do you have any idea now how many times she has paid for your guys' food or drinks?
You think I'm going to sit here and think about all of those times?
Well, then allow me to tell you. You have so far done this to Josie 43 times, and in total, you have had her pay around $4,453 for you three.
What?
I just told you. You have all cost her $4,453 after 43 times of going out and following her around. So I am not going to listen to you go on and on complaining about how my wife isn't nice to you when she has given you and Dad that kind of money when she hasn't even wanted to.
Why do you know about all that stuff?
Those numbers I got from Josie because she's been keeping count. Now, there's one last thing that I need to tell you before I stop texting back. After all you've done to my ex-wife and I'm going to cut ties with the whole family.
Huh? Now what the actual hell are you saying to me?
Not only you, but also Dad and also Vanessa. I am sick of all three of you and want out of this mess. I will never see any one of you ever again after today. And you all can forget about getting any more money from me every month. If any of you do ever try looking for me, I will go out and expose all the horrible things the three of you have done to everyone. Understand?
Hold on a second. If you stop sending us that money every month, then how are we going to continue living in that house? Your dad is no longer working a job, and your sister.
Huh? Vanessa should still be working full-time at the bank, right?
She is working there still, but that girl doesn't give a single penny to your dad or I. She's so selfish about her money and will never even spend any of it on herself because she wants to save it all up.
Who the hell do you think you are, calling only her selfish, though? Also, the reason she ended up that way wasn't just her fault. That was the way you and Dad taught her to act, and so she thinks it's totally acceptable to be selfish and not have to share.
But your dad and I have just been accepting her ways of being a little bit selfish. But we can't handle it anymore now.
Then why don't you and Dad kick her out of your house?
Well, because that would be... Anyhow, if you cut ties to the three of us, we're all going to be in huge trouble.
You think I freaking care? Now I'm getting out of here, and Josie is coming along with me. You guys figure out how to get yourselves out of this mess this time. Bye.
Hey, did you really not like all that chocolate your dad and I were giving you?
You must have heard about that from Josie then. If you thought about what you were doing to your own son, you'd understand why I hated it. Every year for my birthday and for Christmas, I had to get a bag of old chocolate that was meant for baking. I have had enough from you three, and I am out of here. Don't even try calling or texting me anymore, Mom, and make sure Dad and Vanessa know not to talk to me as well.
Wait, Grayson! Josie, oh, please come back to the wine bar. We were just told that the restaurant will be closing soon here, but we don't have any way to pay for the food and drinks. And I do not care. How many times now have you tried calling me these past 30 minutes? I think around 55 times. Just use a dang card or something to pay your bill and go the hell home. But they're saying that the bill is $4,500 this time. I only have one credit card on me right now, but I haven't paid it off yet, so I can only use about $200. Well, I'm sure you could have guessed how expensive the bill would be by the fact that you all ate around the amount 30 people would eat. We just need you to lend us some money, okay? If you don't, then we're going to have the police called on us. Oh, that's right. I'm sure I shouldn't be saying something like this at this time, but I want you and your family to pay me back the $4,453 that you had me spend on you all. All right?
Huh? You want us to pay you back? But that was you treating us to food and drink all those times, right?
And to this day, I have never said one time that I was treating any of you to those meals. I was just lending you all the money to pay those bills. You also went and filled out and signed all the IOUs that I handed to you before saying so.
IOUs? I don't ever remember signing any documents from you like that.
Did you just remember now? Whenever I was having to pay for you three, you came and filled out a paper and signed it, right? Those were all IOUs that I was keeping for a moment just like this. And each and every time I asked you to sign those, you never bothered to read them, did you?
Those were all IOUs? I never knew I was signing a bunch of IOUs. That's not fair. I signed those without even knowing what they were, so that is not fair.
You can't tell me you didn't know what you were signing at the time because all of this information was written on those papers. And you signed them 43 times, Angela.
But you told me each and every time that you were using them to keep track of your spending.
And I was. I had to use those IOUs in order to tell what money was going to be paid back to me eventually and what money wasn't. So there was no lying on my part.
But that is all too screwed up. It's unreasonable.
And to me, the most unreasonable thing was having 3 people stalking me all the time so that they could come to the exact same places as me and force me to pay for their food. Now, that was all I had to tell you, so I'll be going now.
You hold it right there. I said you just wait a second.
Angela, that was really surprising for me. I never thought you'd be able to figure out where I'd be going next.
What? It's not like I'm doing anything wrong right now.
But you paid that girl off that I work with, who also happened to be an old classmate of Vanessa's, to spy on me and give you more information. I already made sure to tell HR about this, and right now she's being chewed out by the manager of this department in his office. But you were telling me before that you didn't have any money, yet you had enough to pay someone to feed you information about me? Something is seriously wrong with you, Angela.
Shut up already! Just leave all of that alone!
Fine, but now I at least know why you never kicked your greedy little daughter out of the house when she wasn't sharing with you. You were using her and her classmate in order to find out where I was going at all times.
We have been living in hell over here. Unlike you and your wealthy lifestyle, we have nothing. My husband and I have been so jealous of all the high-end restaurants you get to go to.
I understand wanting to go somewhere that you can't afford. But you cannot say things like that when you are both having to live off your son's money already because you both don't want to work. I'm not even that wealthy to begin with.
Hey, how are we all going to support ourselves now? Grayson went and actually cut ties to all of us, and we can no longer pay for this house.
Now that I think about it, how did you guys end up paying for all the wine and food you had at that wine bar?
Well, they took all our information down and made sure that we came in the next day to pay them. My husband and I ended up having to borrow money from the bank to do that.
Well, that was your only option, wasn't it? That means you guys now have to pay the bank back for that borrowed money, right? That's going to be really tricky for 2 unemployed jack-offs.
And it wasn't just that, you jerk. We also had to worry about paying all that money back to you.
Well, that was a part of the deal after signing those IOUs. Sorry that you decided not to read anything. Now, due to the fact that I am no longer a part of your family and don't want to hear from you ever again, I'm blocking your phone number. If we do ever meet again, coincidentally, then I might buy you guys a pack of expired chocolates or something as a gift. After that, I went ahead and blocked Angela's phone number along with her husband's number as well. However, for a bit, I was getting spam calls from different numbers that had their caller ID blocked. I could tell that it was Angela trying to get a hold of me, so I made one last push against her, and that was changing my own number, as well as blocking all of her social media accounts. And ever since I'd done that, I haven't had to see her texts or hear her annoying voice ever again. From what I've heard others say about them, those 3 were all removed from their house not too long after, as they couldn't pay the rent for it anymore. They originally tried to squat in the house after the landlord had kicked them out of the house and gone home, but when they realized that the doors were all locked, they broke in through a window. But all that work of breaking back in and squatting there would come to a quick end the next day, as the landlord came back to start cleaning the place out and found them sleeping inside on the living room floor. They didn't even hesitate when calling the police, and by the time Angela and everyone were waking up, the police were inside and getting ready to handcuff them. Those three spent the next day in the county jail before being released and made to pay $10,000 for breaking the window and entering the house, putting Angela and her husband only further into debt. After they were released, Angela's husband then went out and got himself a job working part-time at a car wash. And Angela herself even picked up a job as a sign twirler. They were able to get a really cheap apartment together, meant for just one person to live in, so you could say things are pretty tight for the three of them. But only a week after moving into that new apartment, Vanessa wasn't able to take it anymore, and so she moved away. However, it wasn't long before the company she'd been working for learned about how harsh she was treating her coworkers, and so she was forced to leave the company as well. She was then also forced to pay some fines to the company, as it also came out that she'd been selling private company information to other companies. So right now she is drowning in some serious debt and will most likely never be hired by a large-scale company again. She even tried going back to her parents' apartment after that, but was told by her dad that her mom has disowned her, and so she would have to go. Of course, her being the selfish brat that she is, she started to scream and cry about how she needed to live with them, but those cries were landing on deaf ears, and soon the door was shut and locked on her. As of right now, I've heard that Vanessa's living on the streets and has taken a particular interest in drug culture. It only took another few months for Angela and her husband to pay off the debt they were in, and once that was done, Angela quit her job as a sign twirler. But her husband wasn't so amused by what she'd done, as now it was only him that was forced to work all the time, so they began fighting, and I believe they still are. As for what happened with me, I went and got remarried to Grayson, and we are now back to being a very happy husband and wife.